2 weeks to go of the summer transfer window, and according to Dharmesh of Sky Sports, West Ham would like to sign another midfielder before the deadline, and that player is likely to be Carlos Soler of PSG. Now, everybody's reporting the same thing, mainly in regards to this, and I like it when that happens. It makes it more believable, and it's almost confirmation. Ex-West Ham employees reported interest in this player for quite some time, but in the last couple of days, the likes of Fabrizio, Romano, Dharmesh, the French media, the Spanish media, they're all suggesting the same thing, that there's a willingness from West Ham to sign the player, PSG want to get this deal done, and the player wants to come to West Ham as well. So all parties are up for the transfer, so providing there isn't a loyalty payment to be made, hopefully this one can happen. Now, there's discrepancies in regards to each reporting as to what the deal is. Some suggesting it's a permanent transfer of 20 million. Some suggesting it'll be a loan move with an option to buy, so it's a try before you buy. But others are saying it will be a loan with an obligation, so we have to buy him next summer no matter what. I think that's believable. I believe all those things in the sense that I think we do want the player, and the player does want to come to West Ham. It's just a case of what terms can West Ham get to suit us. Because we're under a little bit of pressure at the minute. Sean and Clanton Hugh are reporting that a senior source at West Ham has said that we've overspent this summer and we're looking to move players on. Do you know what? That's fair. I have no problems with that. When that comes out before the window's even opened, I have issues. But once we've spent 150 million, we've got 25 senior players, I'm alright with that kind of reporting because I believe it. It makes sense. If anything, I'd be worried if we continued spending without moving players on. That would be concerning. So I believe all of this, and I think the focus will be to move Kurt Zouma on first and foremost, then perhaps Maxwell Cornet, Danny Ings, maybe a central defender, a central midfielder. So there will be players going out. But I do also believe we're in for Soler, and it's just a case of I'd imagine West Ham's ideal situation here is we loan him with an option to buy, and PSG are possibly more inclined to sell him and get the money now. There's obviously a happy medium there somewhere. So I think this one could happen. Now, in regards to the player and transfer itself, two different topics, I guess. I think there's a little bit of fake news going around. I've seen reports that Lopetegui liked him from his time at Spain and stuff like that. So I went and had a look to see how often Soler played under Lopetegui, whether it was the Spain manager or the under-21s or the under-20s manager. No evidence. Can't find anything to suggest that Soler played under Lopetegui. That doesn't mean Lopetegui isn't aware of him being the Spain manager and an upcoming young player. But I think Lopetegui was a few years ahead of Soler in terms of his progress. So when Lopetegui was under 20 manager, Soler was under 17s. When he was a Spanish manager, Soler was still in the youth team of Spain. So he'd have had eyes on him, I'm sure. But in terms of playing under him, can't find any evidence. I think there's a little bit of fake news going around on this one. In terms of the player, I'm sorry, don't know enough about him. I can only see what the statistics tell me. However, they're quite intriguing. I'm going to flash them up in just a second. Before I do, thank you to everybody that subscribed. It was an ambitious target, 40,000 before the Aston Villa game, but we made it. So thank you very much to everybody that has subscribed. If you haven't done so already, please do. It takes 2 seconds and it's completely free. But also drop a like on the video as well by clicking the thumbs up. I'm excited for the news. I'm trying to cap my excitement and enthusiasm in this video because I know it can be a bit overbearing. However, I'm really excited for tonight's game. Man, you Fulham. Come on, Fulham. Anyway, slight burst of enthusiasm there. Right, Carlos Soler. Let's bring up his statistics first of all. So this is just comparing him to similar players across the top 5 leagues of European football. Obviously, green is good, red is bad. You can see his goals and assists at the top there make really good reading. What I always like about this, you can see his shots totals quite low in the 41st percentile, but yet his non-penalty goals is in the 87. That means clinical. I like it when shots totals low but the non-penalty goals are high. That means he's good at converting his chances. Obviously, the bottom one of that bar, 2.84 shot creating actions. Then we move into the middle third there. This is passing, good pass success rate, good progressive passes there. His dribbling, not so much. However, there's always context to which I'll apply in a second. Then you can see his touches and his progressive passes recovered there at the bottom. Really, really good. His defensive side of the game, not so great. His tackles and interceptions, really low. His blocks, clearances and headers won, also really low. However, context. this is in the last 12 months. He's been playing for PSG. I think if you're going to play for a team that dominates the league, I think it's going to be hard. Like if you're an attacking type player, your defensive stats are always going to be low, but your attacking stats are always going to be high. So I take that, it's an indication, it's an insight, and I don't think it's anything much more than that. How you can transfer that to West Ham, I'm a little bit suspicious about. Now, the other thing that Football Reference do is give you 10 players that are similar to Solar in terms of statistics, so it's data. There isn't some guy sat there at the computer going, well, I think he's quite similar to this player, so let's compare them, like what we could do. And what they do is they pull out these players. So at the top there, you've got Pascal Gross, obviously former of Brighton, just moved to Dortmund in the summer. We've got Christian Eriksen on there as well as Gundogan and Martin Odegaard. So this is in terms of statistics and therefore sort of style rather than ability as such, but also ability is being compared in there. So that's the players that they've picked out comparing to give you a little bit of an idea as to perhaps what kind of player he is. And I always like these things. Like I said, I don't take it as gospel. I'm not sitting here thinking, brilliant, we're signing the next Martin Odegaard. That's not what I'm claiming. But you get the sense that he's a creative central midfielder. What's interesting, that's all I'm going to talk about Solar, by the way, other than the fact he's 27 years old and 20 million is the price tag. What is interesting, though, is Lopetegui's comments this week. Lopetegui said he wants 2 players per position, and we haven't reached that, or something along that. We haven't achieved that, he said, which I found very interesting because we currently do have 2 players per position. Sufal, Wan-Bissaka, Mavropanos, Todibo, Agerd, Kilman, Creswell, Emerson, Rodriguez, Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, Soucek, Kudus, Kone, Irving, Paqueta, Bowen, Guilherme, Fulkrug, Antonio, Fabianski. You get my point. There is 2 players per position. But if he's saying we haven't achieved that, I found those comments to be interesting. All that implies is I ain't happy with my 2 players per position at the minute, and I want that upgraded. A lot of talk that we're after a central midfielder. I have to say I find it encouraging because at the moment, going into the Aston Villa game, I think most people agree on at least 9 of the starting 11, maybe even 10 or 11 in some regards. But I think the one position that's debated the most is who partners Rodriguez. Now, if Alvarez was fit and available, I'm not so sure it'd be such a big debate. However, he's not. So I've seen loads of people say Paqueta, I've seen plenty say Ward-Prowse, I've seen plenty say Thomas Tuchel. I've even seen people say they want Freddie Potts there. That's fine, that's their opinion. I'm not going to say they shouldn't say that. That's their opinion. My point is, numerous West Ham fans are wanting to see something different. Whereas at left back, everybody wants to see Emerson. At centre back, everybody wants to see Kilman. In goal, majority want to see Areola. Not the same story in central midfield. So I think even as a fan base, that's the area of concern going into the new season. Are we strong enough in central midfield? Given that we're going after Carlos Soler, and we have been after Fofana, as well as N'Golo Kante, Alex Garcia, the answer would be probably not. That West Ham also don't feel we're strong enough in the central midfield area. So I feel confident that we will get a central midfielder, and I feel quite confident it will be Carlos Soler. So if you know about Carlos Soler, please do get involved in the comments below. Let me know what you think of him, what type of player he is, what we can expect. I like it when subscribers give us information. Also, other subscribers can read the same information, hopefully learn a little bit about the player that could potentially be summer signing number 9 for Tim Steidten and Lopetegui this summer. Now moving on to, I guess, a shock story this week, maybe. Divine Mubama is set to join Manchester City. Now this is good news for West Ham, really. It's a little bit concerning in the sense that if he goes on to make it, which I think is unlikely, I didn't see anything, oh yeah, that's a guaranteed success. So it's a bit, I say, hitting hope from Man City. But they're going to sign him and loan him out immediately. Now, the reason this is good news for West Ham is because there will be compensation due to us. It will likely be settled between the clubs. I don't know how much it'll be, but it's certainly going to be a 6-figure sum of money minimum. I'd imagine, I don't know, I'm just guessing here, 800,000 or something like that. I'd imagine we're going to get a decent bit of cash for it. We might even get over $1 million or something. Obviously, if we can't agree between clubs. It goes to a tribunal and they decide how much Mubama is worth, and Manchester City must pay us that. So it's good news for West Ham, because obviously all summer we've been waiting. I feel a bit sorry for Mubama actually, because if he was free, as in no compensation due to West Ham, if he joins a club outside of England, by the way, there's no compensation due. It's just if he joins another English FA club, money is due to West Ham. But if there wasn't any due, I think he'd have had a good Championship club coming for him by now. He was strongly linked to the likes of Sunderland earlier on in the summer. He would have got a move like that. But when they know that they sign Mubama, they've got to give West Ham up to £1 million, maybe even a bit more. It becomes quite expensive, I think, for a lot of clubs for what is essentially a punt. Now, like I said, I don't see this one working out as a success. I think it is just a little bit of a inexpensive gamble for Manchester City, and obviously if he goes on to make it there, homegrown player, even if he goes out on the Championship on loan and does really well, and a Championship club want to buy him next summer or in 2 summers time, and then they pay 5-6 million for him, it's a significant profit for Manchester City. So Mubama's getting a really good move, and generally wishing the best of luck. I've got nothing against him. Just unfortunate the way things happened at West Ham. I wasn't that impressed when he got minutes, although I don't think he got the best chance in the world. So it's one of these. We'll wait and see how he gets on. But Mubama to Man City was certainly, that was not on my bingo card for the summer transfer window, that's for sure. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We've also had a few loans go out. Patrick Kelly, Doncaster, Callum Marshall, Huddersfield, scored assist on his debut. George Athey at Bristol City. By the way, did you see the announcement by Bristol? If you've not seen Bristol City's announcement of George Athey, the video on their social media, go check it out. It's absolutely fantastic. It's fun. It's fun. I like it a lot. Well done. Big tick in my book for Bristol City. Could make his debut against Millwall tomorrow. So I'm genuinely really looking forward to that if he makes it, and see how he gets on. But Patch will be back on the channel throughout the season, giving us updates in regards to George Athey's progress. So that should be interesting. But anyway, that's it for now. Back later with a video with Max, the Aston Villa fan. I've already recorded it. So if you want to hear an Aston Villa fan's perspective ahead of tomorrow night's game, do come back on. Do check out the forum channel as well. We had a video got last night asking West Ham fans for their expectations and hopes for this season, with one person suggesting we're going to get Champions League football. And do you know what? I love it. I love that optimism and hope, because if you don't have hope as a football fan, what's the point? Anyway, drop a like on the video, subscribe to your Hams chat. Catch you in a bit.